So you are going to need a pair of scissors and your nails, the pink application kit that came with your nails. And I've already washed and dried my hands. So now I'm going to open up the kit and take out the contents. Okay. So first I'm going to take the nail file and I'm going to use that to gently remove the shine. Doesn't really matter which side you use. The pink is a little bit rougher, but we're being gentle here. This is just a slight etching so that the glue will have more surface area to adhere to because we're creating a little bit of texture there. So no big deal, just something like that. So one of the questions that you might have is, will this damage my nails? And the answer is, it depends on how you take them off. That's when things can go wrong. So when we go to remove them, we're gonna take a few precautions, and I'll show you that in a separate video. If you're really concerned, if your nails are incredibly thin or damaged in any way, you can put on any sort of nail polish, let that dry thoroughly, like maybe do that the night before, and then etch the top of that and move on so that you're not gluing directly onto your nail. So you can do that if you've got some sort of nail treatment that you want to apply and to have the nails adhere on top of that. So the only caution I would have with that is that make sure that it dries down completely like a polish to a hard surface, not some sort of like oily treatment that's more like cuticle oil. If you have on some other kind of nail treatment like gel polish or polygel, you can do the same thing. The only caution that I have is to make sure that whatever layer you have of other product on your nails before you do this application, make sure that it's thin, because otherwise, once you put another nail on top of it, you could end up with this really thick, bulky looking nail, and that's probably not going to be what you're going for. And one of the ways to really make this look seamless is to not have this big, thick nail. So now that we've done that, we are going to use the cuticle stick, and we're gonna take the end that is slanted, not the end that's pokey, and we're gonna just very gently push our cuticles back. Just suggest to them that they move back a little bit. And the reason that we're doing this is that it will extend the wear. So the length of wear is directly related to how you apply them. And this is one of the key parts of it. So you've already etched the surface of your nails. That's gonna make a big difference alone. But if you can put the nails on and have them go back as far as possible towards your own cuticle, push into it a little bit, then as your natural nails grow out, then you won't have a little gap there. So they'll continue to look really natural even as your nails start to grow out underneath. And if you are a picker, having a gap there might be something that you might kind of mindlessly play with, and that's not a good thing either for your nails. We're gonna cover most of this up, but we wanna make sure we have as much real estate as possible here. And again, I'm being gentle with this step as well. If you've got an area that feels tight, don't worry about it. Again, we're making a suggestion. We're not forcing anything to move. Just kind of inviting it to snug back. Good. Okay, hang on to the stick because we're gonna use that in a minute. So now what we're gonna do is wipe our nails down with the alcohol pad. Why are we doing this? Well, we are removing all of the dust that we may have created from using the nail file and using the cuticle pusher. We're also removing any little traces of natural oils that might be on our nails. That's another way to lengthen the wear time because oil will prevent the glue from properly adhering. Okay. And we're gonna keep that nearby as well. The buffer is really to use when you're doing your removal process. So I'm gonna go ahead and just put that back with the bag. Okay, now we're gonna open up our nails. And we've got a lot of extra nails in here. So the reason that I do that, I wanna make sure that you have plenty of nails that will fit each of your fingers well. And I also want you to have some extra ones just in case, and you can stick those in the bag here along with the glue that doesn't get used and just have that with you. I've been wearing these nails for a long time. I've rarely had an issue, but it's nice to know that you've got that with you. So now we're gonna go ahead and size them out. You can take, like maybe the biggest nail and start with your thumb if you want. This is too big. We want it to be from side to side, fitting perfectly, but here we see overlap, so that's too big. Now I'm gonna check both hands because my thumbs are slightly different sizes, and that can be the same for other fingers as well. So, okay, so that guy was too big. Come down a little bit. Okay, this is a contender. And if you're unsure, go ahead and grab a smaller one, and if that one doesn't completely cover side to side, then you know you've got to go up. But in general, you want to have the most snug fit possible, and that's going to give you a daintier look to your nails. Now, I do have a little bit of my nail that's exposed in the corners. So what I'm going to do with this one is take the file and just give it a little bit more of a flat shape. More. So that's something that you want to do just a little at a time. It's easy to get distracted and then the nail's shorter than you wanted it to be. Okay, so one side is great. I'm gonna part of that curve there. So I find for me the thumbs always need to be tailored. Just depends on the shape of your hands. Perfection. We can't see any part of our nail, and we're also not overlapping onto the sides. So perfect. So I'm going to set this guy aside. And since these are organized by size, I'm going to do both of my thumbs and then move out. Okay, so here I have another similar situation. The shape of this is rounded, and most of the rest of my nails are too, but this guy is flat across. So I'm going to straighten him out. So if you like the look of longer nails, but you find that it's difficult to type or text, one thing that you can do, and I learned this from Brittany Vester on her channel, such wonderful content. She makes her thumbs shorter than the other nails. So you'd hardly notice it looking at her hands, but just having those two fingers with a shorter nail can make it easier to type and text, and then the rest of the nails are long and beautiful. If you do reshape these, let's say you decide you want them to be a lot shorter, definitely do that from the bottom up, because the top shaping is much harder to get right than the bottom. Now I've got a little bit on the side. Okay, perfect. All right, thumb, thumb. And let's see, now the next largest finger for me is gonna be my middle finger. That is too big. About you. About you. Hold this on here and really look side to side. Can I completely cover my nail, or is there a little gap there? And there's a little gap that tells me I need to go up to the larger size. But on this finger is completely covered. So that's gonna be my left middle. And I'm gonna go to a larger one. Let's try this guy on. And Yeah, this nail bed for me is a little bit squared off too, so make that fit. So in the same way that having your clothes tailored so that the fit is perfect for you, tailoring your nails will make a big difference as well. And because they're going to be on for a long time, it's definitely worth the effort. Awesome. So I've got my nails laid out, and like I said, okay, so we're going to push that off to the side. Now, we are ready to start applying. So I'm going to take the tube of glue and give it a bit of a twist that will break the seal and get your cap off. And the inside of your glue is completely closed, which is good. You don't want that to have glued your entire package together. But we're going to cut that off with a pair of scissors. Okay, there we go. And I did get some glue on my scissors, so that alcohol pad that I just had would be great to clean that off. Okay. Some people say that you should do the harder hand first, so the non-dominant hand for you, and that's a good idea. So that's what I'm going to do. I'm right-handed, so I'm going to do my right hand with my left, and I'm going to start from here on out. So I'm just going to lay that nail there, and I'm going to put on a little dot of glue. Okay, and then I take kind of the side of that nozzle and I use it to just even that out and smush it around. I'm going to put a little bit on here, not being as careful on here to smooth it around. What I'm going to do is take the edge, and I'm pushing into my cuticle a little bit. Not enough to make it hurt, but enough to make it count. And I'm going to stick that down, and then I'm going to lift up for just a second and make sure that it's straight. And then I'm going to hold down like this for 30 seconds. And while I do that, I'm going to roll my finger around like this to really get all of the surfaces covered. So one of the other things that you can do with the extra nail glue, having that around can be handy. Sometimes you may find yourself needing to MacGyver something together, something metal, plastic, whatever breaks, and you can fix it using your nail glue. Spreading that around. And you don't have a whole lot of time to work with, so you want to have a sense of urgency. Down. Okay, that's good. I'm just rocking it from side to side. And got a little glue that's come up over here, so I'm going to grab that alcohol wipe again and do that. Or you can take the pointy part of your cuticle stick and wipe it away. Okay. Good to go. Middle. And figuring out how much glue to use can be tricky. If you use too much, it will probably come out the sides, and the glue dries matte. So if it comes out the sides and then spills out onto the nail itself, pulls up onto there, it can be visible unless you have a matte set of nails. But at the same time, you want these to stay. So if you are spreading the glue around with the side of the container, that will really make a difference, because you'll be able to see whether you've got enough to really spread it around without having it just running all over the place. One of the things that I love about these nails is that there's never any polish on the skin around the nails, because that is so difficult to do for me on myself, and to still get the color all the way to the edge. Forget no dry time. I love that. And radically, radically improved hands.